You felt it, haven't you? That chill. When the night closes in, when the world around you fades into shadows, and you're left with nothing but your thoughts and the darkness. Walking alone in the darkness. It's not a metaphor anymore, it's your reality. Every step you take, it feels heavier. Like the weight of your own existence is pressing down on your chest. The darkness stretches on, with no end in sight. And you wonder, how did I get here? Why am I the one left behind? People say the darkness is a place of fear, a place where the unknown creeps up behind you, whispers in your ear, makes you doubt everything. But for you, this darkness, it's become familiar, a twisted kind of comfort. It's not the unknown you fear, it's the truth that hides inside of it. You remember when the world was bright, don't you? When the people around you smiled, when your days were full of light, of laughter, of hope. But something changed. You changed. Or maybe it was them. They left you, didn't they? Or worse, they watched you slip away and did nothing. You've heard it before. Stay positive. Things will get better. Keep fighting. But what they don't understand is that sometimes the fight isn't against the world. It's against yourself. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Not everyone makes it out of the darkness. Some of us, we live here. We adapt. We find a way to survive, not because we want to, but because we have no other choice. You see, walking alone in the darkness changes you. You stop waiting for someone to come and save you. You stop hoping for a hand to pull you out. You learn that the only person who can get you through this is you. And here's the thing about the darkness. Once you've been in it long enough, you start to see. Not in the way others see. Not with eyes that only work in the light. You see the truth of things, the reality behind the masks. In the darkness, there's no pretending. There's no faking your way through it. What you are is what you become. Raw. Exposed. You start to notice that the people who were supposed to stand by you, they never really saw you. They only saw the version of you that made them feel comfortable, the one that didn't disrupt their world. But when that version started to crack, when the darkness crept in, they left. Or worse, they pretended they didn't notice. And that's the kind of pain that changes you forever. But here's the thing about walking alone in the darkness. It teaches you something most people will never understand. It teaches you strength. Not the kind that people see on the outside. Not the muscles, not the loud bravado, not the forced smiles. I'm talking about the kind of strength that comes from surviving when no one is watching, when no one cares, when no one is there to witness the battle, but you still fight anyway. You stop needing validation from the world. You stop craving acceptance. You stop looking for anyone to save you because you know they won't. You become your own savior, your own protector. And that's where the real power lies. They underestimated you. They thought leaving you in the dark would break you, that you'd crumble under the weight of your own demons. But here you are, still standing, still walking. And every step you take, you get stronger. Every moment in the darkness shapes you, sharpens you, carves you into something unbreakable. Let me tell you something about the darkness they don't talk about. It reveals the monsters, sure, but it also reveals something else, your true self. The part of you that doesn't need the world's approval. The part that doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. The part that refuses to stay down when everything around you is trying to crush you. Walking alone in the darkness isn't a curse. It's a transformation. It's the moment you realize that the people who left you behind, they were never meant to come with you. They couldn't handle this version of you. The one forged in silence. The one built in the shadows. The one who doesn't flinch in the face of fear, but stares it down unblinking. This version of you, the one walking through the darkness, it's dangerous, it's powerful, because you've been through hell, and you've come out the other side with scars, not wounds. Scars that remind you of the battles you fought, the nights you survived when no one was watching, the tears you shed in silence. They'll regret leaving you behind. Oh, they'll regret it, because the person you were before, the one who needed them, who sought their approval, who bent and broke to fit into their expectations, that person's gone, buried in the darkness. In their place, you, the real you. You've learned to walk alone, to stand alone, to face the darkest parts of yourself without fear. And that, my friend, is power. That's what they don't want you to know. That's why they fear the dark, because they're too scared to face themselves in it, but not you. You've become something more, something they can't control, they can't predict. You've become someone who doesn't need them anymore. And when you finally step out of this darkness, when you decide it's time to show the world who you've become, they won't recognize you. They won't understand how you survived. But you'll know. You'll know that you were never truly alone. That in the darkest moments you found yourself, you found your strength. And that's something no one can take from you. So keep walking. Let the darkness shape you. Let it show you who you really are. Because when the day finally comes, when you emerge from the shadows, the world will see what you've become, and they'll realize too late. They should have never left you alone in the darkness. You know, the darkness isn't just a place you end up, it's a test. A test to see if you'll break when no one is watching. If you'll fall apart when there's no one left to pick up the pieces. Most people can't handle it. They collapse. They cry out for someone to rescue them. But not you. You've been screaming in silence for so long that now your voice is stronger than ever. You don't need to shout to be heard. You've learned that the loudest power doesn't come from noise, but from presence. Your presence. The way you hold yourself after surviving everything that was meant to destroy you. They'll look at you and wonder how you managed to stand back up. How you walked through the fire, through the shadows, and came out unburned. But you'll know the answer. It wasn't because you were immune to the pain. You felt it, every last drop of it. But instead of letting it drown you, you let it carve you, shape you. The darkness became your forge. And now, you're unbreakable. Not because the pain disappeared, not because the loneliness went away, but because you learned how to carry it. The weight of it? It's yours now, not a burden, but a reminder of who you are, of what you've been through, of what you're capable of. You see, the people who left you behind, the ones who turned their backs when you needed them the most, they thought they were walking away from a lost cause. They thought the darkness would swallow you whole, but they underestimated something. They underestimated the power of walking alone. Because when you walk alone, when you face the abyss without anyone to lean on, you stop fearing it. You stop fearing what's out there. And instead, you become the thing that's feared. They'll never understand what it feels like to lose everything, to be stripped of every comfort, every illusion of safety, to stand in the ruins of your old life and wonder how you're supposed to keep going. But you figured it out. You found a way when there was no path left. And now, you're not just walking in the darkness. You own it. The shadows are yours. They no longer suffocate you, they empower you. The loneliness, it's not your enemy, it's your ally. So let them wonder, let them question how you survived. Let them fear the silence that follows your steps. Because you are no longer the person they left behind. You are no longer the broken soul wandering aimlessly, waiting for someone to save you. You saved yourself. And now they'll have to face you. The version of you that walks alone, the version of you that doesn't need their approval, doesn't need their validation, the version that found strength in the solitude, in the silence, in the darkness. And when the time comes, when the world realizes what you've become, they'll regret it. Oh, they'll regret leaving you behind. They'll regret thinking that you wouldn't survive, that you wouldn't rise from the ashes, but you won't care, because the person you are now, you owe no one anything. You walk this path for yourself now, not for them, not for their expectations. You walk for the person who made it through when no one thought you could. You walk for the strength you found in the moments when it felt like everything was slipping away, for the warrior you became when the world turned its back on you. So let them watch. Let them see the monster they created. The one who learned to thrive in the darkness they feared. The one who walks alone, not out of weakness, but because that's where true power lies. You are the darkness now. And when you finally step out of the shadows, the world will know. Remember this. It's not the light that makes you strong. It's the darkness that reveals your true self. You've walked alone, and in doing so, you've become unstoppable. They thought the darkness would break you, but it was in the darkness that you learned how to stand tall. And now, they can't touch you. That's all. I'm out. By the way, if you want to level up in life, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.